everybody, what's going on? And welcome back to All Pucked Up, brought to you by MyGarageBar.com and Disruption Network. I made it through that successfully.
You did. Congratulations.
Yeah. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Of course, last show of the year. I'm very excited. and I should say,
we can tell in your voice.
Yeah. And I should say, I hope everybody out there had a wonderful Christmas or whatever they celebrate. Right?
Happy holidays.
Yeah, happy holidays. That's the new thing.
I guess we have to say that now.
So a very busy week around these parts last week, and let me bring you guys in because we already have a conversation going. We've been having it for the last couple minutes, and we might as well continue it. So, Yosh, what is going on today?
Well, another Pittsburgh Penguin went down with an injury. Jake Gensel.
Yeah, shocking. And in other news, the sun will rise tomorrow, right?
Yeah. I say we just lick a stamp on the Penguin season and just send it out.
And I was just saying, I told you before we came on, I said, and somehow through all these injuries, they've sort of been okay. They're not great by any means, but I mean, I think they're second right now in the Metro.
Second in the Metro.
Yeah.
They're hanging in there.
They're hanging. And all of a sudden it's like, all right, we're getting somewhere.
But the thing is, I think Crosby's close to coming back.
Yeah.
And you know who's happy out of all this? Alex Galchenyuk.
Yeah.
He's like, I might not get traded now. I might get to stay.
Oh, my Lord. Otherwise than that, we should talk real quick about the benefit that happened this week.
Yeah.
Great show, man. Great show.
Oh, it was a great time.
Roughly about 250 people we had through the door. That's counting some of the band guys and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think it was like 219 paying customers, which for a local show, fabulous.
Can I talk about that really quick?
Absolutely.
Actually, I've been thinking about this since last night, and all the years I've played in bands around here and playing up at 12 North, I have never seen that many people in that bar ever. And I mean, I've played to 5 people in there before. It made me feel good in a way because it kind of makes you realize that maybe the scene isn't as bad as we think it is around.
Right. That's exactly what I was thinking.
But at the same point, to get all these people to come out, we had to dig all these bands up from their graves from 3 years ago to get these people to come out. And since we're talking resolutions today, and since we're on Disruption Network, and we like to do challenges on Disruption Network, I'm going to issue a challenge right now.
All right.
What I want everyone to do, and I know everyone's busy, everybody's got stuff going on. What I want you to do is try to make time to go to one show a month. Just one local original band. Try to go out and see them. And even if it's not your style, you don't know if it's not your style if you don't give it a shot.
Great point.
And there are a lot of young bands that are trying to kind of break out that are getting discouraged because, either the bars just want a cover band or, nobody will come out and see them because they don't have a name built for themselves. Well, they can't build a name for themselves if nobody's going out and seeing.
Right. If they have no fans, if they have nobody there.
So that's my challenge. And I will practice what I preach. I will try to do the same. I will try to get out to one show a month of a local original bands, local original music. Doesn't have to be rock. It can be anything.
Does Fritch's polka band count?
That counts. That counts. Just, give these guys a chance. Let's try to breathe some life back into this local music scene.
I agree. 100%.
And I'm not just saying that from the standpoint of a guy that's got a new band started.
I have a new band. No, I definitely hear you,
just get out there. Get out there because it gives musicians hope.
Yeah.
When you see people actually wanting to come out and see them play. And I get, like I said, it's late. We're all getting older. People don't drink. We don't drink like we used to or at all, but that doesn't matter. They have water and soda at the bar.
Yeah, you're right. And real briefly, I'll just say it kind of, when we go to promote bands and we try to do different shows, because that's kind of what we do, it doesn't help when we walk up and we'll say, hey, Mr. Bar Owner, we want to bring this band in. And they go, well, you know what? Nobody comes out. I'm not going to pay that band because it's going to be a total loss on my part. And you go, all right, okay, well, we'll bring him in. for real cheap. And then still nobody shows up. The show goes south. And then 2 weeks from then, you hear people out complaining going, oh,
Well, there's nothing to do around here.
Exactly. And you're like, well, if you'd get off your ass.
And it was like the post you had made where you're annoying people by over promoting the show. Well, it's not over promotion. Yeah. You're not going to get people to go if you don't promote it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's only so much we can do. We can talk to Genesee Joe on the drive, and he'll post it, and they'll put it in the scene part of the OD, the local newspaper. And we can pump it up on Facebook and basically just annoy the crap out of people until they can come.
Sure.
And that's all. That's all I'm saying. Just one weekend a month. Take out of your time and just go out to a local bar and see a new band. Yeah. That's all.
Very doable. And I do have to say thank you to Disruption Network through all that for giving us so much publicity and
absolutely
bringing to light everything. Scott Kimville, I didn't forget about you over there, man. How you doing?
Not bad.
Yeah?
Not bad.
How'd Christmas work out for you?
It sucked. I was in the firehouse for a 24. But
were you really?
Yeah, we did everything the day before. So.
Oh man.
Santa had to make a special trip early for my daughter, so that's all right. She was thrilled because she got all her stuff early.
Yeah.
And she said to me, she goes, "Well, Daddy, you could work Christmas Day every year, right?" Yeah, thanks. Thanks, kid. You're a Kinville through and through, aren't you?
Just make sure all the presents are there early. Yeah. Perfect. Oh, you gotta love Christmas. I had a couple friends arguing on Christmas that they didn't like their gifts, they didn't get this thing, and to me, I said maybe I'm actually very lucky that I have such a small family.
Right.
Holidays are just like you, and here's your present. We're done. So, anyways, yeah. So outside of the big Jake Gensel news there, which I'm still hurting. Another big injury, Scott. What do we got?
Eunice Corpusalo, the poor Columbus Blue Jackets. This team just cannot get a break.
No, they can't.
They can't. This guy was lights out for like the past month or so. Then he gets hurt in that damn gimmick shootout.
Yeah.
Poor John Tortorella. I mean, I can't believe he didn't just throw something at somebody at that press conference afterwards. I mean, if you think about it, they get screwed by the time clock because the referees somehow just can't manage to keep time. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah.
Okay. So I won't rehash that. And then Corpusalo goes down to a knee injury in the shootout. Come on. Get rid of the shootout, NHL, please.
You've never been a fan.
I hate it. Because it was like I was just telling Yosh. Are you serious that a point in a shootout can actually end up determining a playoff spot?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the sad thing.
Yeah. Listen, you want to go 3-on-3 in overtime? That's fine. It's exciting. I get it. Hey, great. Go for it. Knock yourselves out. Get rid of the shootout, please. Enough's enough.
Yeah.
It's not exciting. It's stupid. Okay? I mean, if I wanted to, I'll tell you what, I'll go play PlayStation if I want to do shootouts. Okay? I don't want to see a playoff spot get determined or now have somebody get injured in a shootout. Okay? Enough. Enough is enough. Stop it, NHL.
I have a theory about the shootout. And because, obviously the behind the scenes stuff, when you start hearing some of the things. We've worked hockey shows before, and it's funny because you'll have the headset on and you can hear all the broadcasts going on, and they're directly tied to the ref on the ice and everything. So you hear everybody talking, and you always hear, whenever there's overtime, you hear, "Oh, now we're not going to get out on time," and everybody freaks out.
Well,
and it's like,
there you go.
And it's like, well, wait a minute. All right, well, we'll do the quick shootout, and then we'll be out. And then you're like, wow.
And then it goes like 17 rounds.
But it's so interesting hearing that. You're like, maybe I've cracked the code here. I know what's up with you people. So as you guys know, we were originally going to do the what I want for Christmas theme for this year, and then we decided what I really want to do is no show for that.
And then fate put a lump of coal in our stocking for the show. So
yeah, so we decided to try to carry a little bit of a theme over. This week we're going to do basically like New Year's resolutions, because obviously today is New Year, right? It's going to be New Year tomorrow. Yeah. So we're taking teams, and I think we'll start in the East. And what we're going to do is basically talk about what their New Year's resolution should be, what these guys should commit themselves to, and make like priority to get better coming this 2020. So I gave you some teams earlier on, and we're going to start. Scott, I think we start with you.
Okay.
The Tampa Bay Lightning. What should their New Year's resolution be?
Their New Year's resolution should be to get a little better defensively. The offense is there, and I still have not lost faith in Tampa Bay yet. Tampa Bay is the classic example of what happens when you put too many superstars on one team. They haven't gelled at all, really.
No.
I mean, and they've had some time. But to me, Tampa Bay is one of those teams that is going to get hot at the right time, especially now that we're going into the second half of the season. If they can stay away from injuries, which is for anybody, any team, really. If they get hot at the right time, look out.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Look out. You know, they're sitting right outside of a playoff spot right now. I mean, I think they're a point out or something like that.
Yep.
But when you look at the Atlantic Division, you got Boston, Toronto, and Florida. Florida, I'm still a believer, and I think they're going to get in on the wild card. I still believe that. I think there's just too much talent in Florida for that to not happen. Toronto's the team I think is going to end up dropping out. I have zero faith in Toronto. None. Their defense is in shambles. Mm-hmm. All right, if Marner and Matthews or Tavares aren't doing it, forget it. They're done. Right? Freddie Anderson, the poor guy, has got to be exhausted already. And God forbid if something happens to him, they are sunk. Right? But that notwithstanding, we're not talking about Toronto. We're talking about Tampa Bay. Okay. They're leading the league in power play percentage. What a shocker, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, my God, that's so surprising. But they're also in the top half of penalty killing, so they're okay special teams-wise. Mm-hmm. It's their 5-on-5 defense that needs a little bit of work. Now, do they have any room to make any trade? I mean, of course, this is the NHL. They'll magically find a way. Every team does. I mean, forget the cap and all that. I mean, I don't care what anybody says. I know it's a hard cap, but these general managers are smart. They figure out how to do the gymnastics and get around it,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely do, every year.
But I don't see the need for Tampa Bay to really make any huge moves. I don't see it.
No, they've got
I think they got to stick with what they got. Mm-hmm. And then they got to turn around and say to John Cooper, okay, you have been built up as this genius for years, okay? You're the boy wonder, and all that. Guess what, pal? It's time to earn the contract. It's time to earn the money.
Right.
But I'll tell you what. If they miss for some miracle or whatever,
bye.
See ya. Yeah. Goodbye.
Yep.
Because there's going to be a damn big shakeup necessary.
We were talking earlier. I actually am kind of surprised that hasn't happened already.
Not with Tampa Bay. It's way too early to panic. It's too early.
Okay.
Not with Tampa Bay. We said the Sharks could have been in trouble for that, right?
Sure.
So look what happened.
Yeah.
But we'll save all that for the Western Conference.
Yeah, I think we might have.
I was going to say we'll save that. We'll save that. Just put that on the back burner for now. But anyways, like I said, Tampa Bay commit to getting a little better defensively, 5-on-5, and you're going to be just fine.
Yeah.
They've still got breathing room to get into that top 3 in that division. They're not going to catch Boston, but they've certainly got enough time to get into the top 2 or 3. And the 2 or 3 spots. So.
And you know what? The funny thing is, as much as we sit here and we're like, oh, man, they got to do something. They got to turn this around. After watching St. Louis last year, completely turn things around.
You're right. But you know what the problem was with St. Louis doing what they did? Now everybody thinks they got a chance.
True.
People don't realize that was like a 1 in a million thing that St. Louis did. Now that St. Louis did, like, oh, we can do it. Well, we can do it.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they're Rocky Balboa now,
Right at the end of January, we'll kick
in. down. That's all right. Gonna fly now. No, that was a one-off. I'm telling you.
Yeah. And Yoshi, do you what do you think about Tampa? You think that's the right resolution?
I'll agree with that. I also think they really have to focus on embracing a must-win attitude and start really picking up wins at home, because just before Christmas they were sitting at just about 500 playing at home.
Yeah, that's not great.
No,
right.
And then after the Christmas break, they've strung together 3 wins, and they have a fairly easy schedule coming up. Their next 3 games are playing Buffalo, Montreal, and Ottawa. So I really don't think it should be a problem for them to really start picking up some steam here.
Sure,
you're absolutely right, Yosh. And then there's one other point I wanted to add, because you're right. Their sense of urgency really stinks sometimes.
Yeah,
it's almost like they think, oh, we got the talent.
That's the star mentality, right?
It's what killed them in the playoffs last year.
Absolutely.
Yep.
One other thing I want to point out, and this goes for every team. All right, if you look at the stats, the standings on NHL.com or on the NHL app, right? You got games played, wins, losses, overtime, blah, blah, blah. The last column is the one that's important to me, and that's differential. It's basically the team plus minus. I don't put stock in individual plus minus, really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's kind of a garbage stat for individual. But for team-wise, I like it because it can tell you where the flukes are and where it isn't. Okay? Tampa Bay is a plus 15. Now, I realize they've blown a couple teams out, but they've also been blown out a couple times.
Right.
But overall, if you're to the positive, you got a shot. And when you're at plus 15 and you're sitting just outside of a playoff spot with games in hand on a lot of teams, you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Toronto, vice versa, is only a plus 8. And they've already played quite a few more games than anybody else has.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm thinking it's gonna come to the median pretty soon.
I think when everything shakes out, Tampa's a team that they're going to be okay.
I think so.
Yeah.
There's not a doubt in my mind.
They make a great talking point for right now.
And you know what? This could probably be the best thing that ever happened to them.
What,
they have to face a little adversity.
Yeah.
A little bit,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, yeah.
Now you're down on the mat. Now you got to get up.
Yeah. No.
Now let's see what you're made of.
Think about 2 years ago when Washington won the Cup. They weren't the best team in the league going into it.
No, they were not.
They were floating around the middle like Tampa is now. So, everyone was amazed that Tampa had so many wins last year, and then they just fell apart going into the playoffs. You know, being the President's Trophy winners,
Right.
And that's I mean,
Even when the Penguins were winning their cups, they weren't running away with their division.
no.
It was a dogfight right till the end.
Absolutely.
Maybe they're just playing coy with us.
Yeah,
like
rope-a-dope.
We'll hang out until we get into play.
We're gonna sandbag,
and then we'll turn it on.
Oh, sneaky lightning! I knew that. Crazy. Let's jump over and we'll talk about Buffalo, the Buffalo Sabres. I can't figure this team out, man. I really can't. Sometimes I look at them and like that's a playoff team. Other times I look at them and like I don't know what they're doing. Yosh, what should their New Year's resolution be?
There's 2 things the Sabres need. They need a solid starting goaltender.
Right.
And they also need to have 2 more lines. I feel like I'm watching the Oilers.
Yep.
They have 2 solid first and second line are solid. And that's where 90% of the points on the team are. If you look at the points, each individual player's points, they're all from first, second line players. Third and fourth line,
gone.
Why are they even on the ice? Why are they even on the ice at this point? I've had this conversation over and over and over with my brother-in-law, and he'll tell you the exact same thing.
Yeah.
It just the bottom 2 lines are trash. They either need to seriously start thinking about making some moves, or figure out what's going on with the other 2 lines. Because it's not like there's not talent there.
No. But
Even that second line isn't that great, though.
No, it's not.
I mean, when Marcus Johansson, I like Marcus Johansson, but he's your second line center. He's more of a winger. Connor Sherry is so streaky, it's hard to figure him out.
Yep.
But the second line isn't even really that great. I mean, they're not bad. Don't get me wrong, they're not bad.
Yep.
But
And Girgensons, he's
he's a bottom
overrated.
6. He's a bottom 6 forward.
Yeah.
Let's face it, he's bottom 6. Yeah, you're right. Buffalo is kind of like a sports car with a V4. Nice to look at. Well, I bet you that can go fast, and then it starts moving, and it's like, well, it's supposed to be going faster. What's going on
to it?
Is the parking brake still on? What's going on here?
I think, as I look at the list of teams we're going to talk about today, one of the things that I can honestly say is that each of these teams kind of like really needs to recommit to winning.
Yeah.
Well, and you're right. And like with Buffalo, what's really kind of hurting them right now too is that it looks like Rasmus Dahlin is like in the sophomore slump.
Yeah.
Casey Middlestat didn't pan out to be. He's back down in the AHL now. Yeah. They had such high hopes for that kid.
Yeah.
That he was going to be the one that solidified that second line, and it's just not working out.
Well, we even say like with the organizations themselves, we can sit here and we can talk about that. Like, oh man, there is definitely you need to make a decision with regards to your goaltenders. What is going on?
Yeah.
Obviously, somebody's being paid very good money to see that too. And we always talk about like how are they not addressing this? I don't know. That's what I mean by like maybe recommit to winning instead of just phoning it.
You know what makes it difficult is the salary cap.
Yeah,
you can't. It's hard when you have a flat cap and you have so many teams that are buttered up against that cap with so few teams that have got some room to move. Mm-hmm. It makes it extremely difficult to actually try to make a move to improve yourself. Because if you fill one hole, you can't fill the other.
No. And I think a lot of that weight falls on the GMs too for signing, especially young players, to really big bad contracts.
Right.
And then they don't pan out to be what they were in the juniors or international leagues, you know.
But you know what, they do it
universal theme in
every single free agent frenzy day. They do it though.
Yep.
Every single year they hand out these ridiculous contracts, and how many of them really work out?
Yeah, it's people like shooting, spitballs at the wall, and
But then then these GMs that if they play conservative and they're like, all right, well, we're not going to hand out this big money to, a guy who's 29 years old and he wants a 7-year contract for $85 million. Then the fan base gets all pissed off and they're like, well, you didn't make any moves. You didn't try to improve the team. Yeah. It's like, right, because we don't want to be handcuffed 5 years down the road with this contract.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's
you either way you lose.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Crucified by the media. So, what do you see in Buffalo?
I think Yoshi hit the nail right on the head, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Linus Allmark is actually a very good backup goaltender. I think that he's very serviceable. They made a mistake by signing Carter Hutton and thinking he was going to be a starter. I mean, he had one good year. And that's the danger with giving guys contracts one good year when they were in their contract year.
Yeah.
And that's across the board with any sport. But it always has amazed me that somebody can have, like, say, a 5-year contract. They could be mediocre for 4 years. And then they're in that last year, and all of a sudden
they're amazing
because they want to get.
They are incredible. I can't figure it out. Jeez, no way. They're gonna have to address, and there's a lot of teams out there that are in the same boat. They're gonna have to address the goaltending situation. There's no doubt about it. Their defense is actually not too overly bad. Probably a good thing they didn't trade Ristolainen.
Yeah,
because like I said, Dahlin hit the sophomore slump. Brandon Montour. He's been all right. He's still got a lot of room to develop. Harry Jokiharu, I think that's how you say it. He's been all right. And that's another thing with the Sabres is you had a lot of players that they were expecting to take that next step, and they took like a half step.
Yeah.
Started off great, just like last year, and then all of a sudden, reality set in.
It's one of those things, talking about fan bases before. This is a year, what do we always call it? Like kind of a proving year for this team? Because we had some pretty big expectations going into
it. Yeah, we expected them to at least sniff around a playoff spot.
Yeah.
And I've said it before and said it 1,000 times over, that fan base deserves to have a winning team or a fantastic fan base out there.
Absolutely.
Support that team no matter what. And they really deserve it. So hopefully for the Sabres, something will go right.
Something. Give them
anything.
Nothing happens with the Bills. Nothing's happened with the freaking nothing. I mean, let's go on. What do we got? Philly, the Philadelphia Flyers. Scott, I'm gonna let you start on this one.
You know what? Philly is right about where we thought they should be.
Yeah.
I can't really complain about the Philadelphia Flyers. I think AV's done a really good job with them. They're a faster, exciting team. Fortunately for the Flyers GM, Kevin Hayes is finally starting to do something because that contract was really starting to look a little ridiculous for a while. It's like, what are you doing? Right. Wouldn't surprise me one bit to see Shane Gostisbehere end up getting traded. He's unhappy. He's on the third line. Sometimes he's a healthy scratch. He's a guy that needs to be playing. I realize that sometimes he's a defensive liability, but he's going to be a nice boost for a power play unit if they do end up moving him.
Yeah.
Of course, the problem is they're not going to want to move him to another playoff contender. He's going to have to go out west, right? But no, overall, I think Philadelphia's done very well for themselves. There's really nothing to complain about, to be honest with you, if you're a Flyers fan.
Yeah.
This is where they should be, right? Their power play's been decent. James Van Riemsdyk's finally starting to come around a little bit. Mm-hmm. That JVR, that huge contract. Remember we talked about those free agent frenzy days?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Case in point. Now he's finally starting to score a little bit. You get Couturier, you get Drew. Well, Drew's going to be a consistent guy anyhow.
Sure.
Jake Voracek can finally start finding his stride a little bit. They're going to be okay. Carter Hart's going to hit a couple bumps in the road. He's still a young goaltender, but it looks like Brian Elliott is the guy to be. They were right to hang on to him.
Absolutely. Right.
I really had some question marks about that one. It's like, wow, really? You're going to ride a second-year goaltender, and you're going to have Brian Elliott to save the day? So far, I've been proven wrong. He's been decent. He's really been good. So I think they're going to be contending for that one of those wild card spots right up until the very end.
Okay.
I do. They're just overall no complaints.
I mean, other than the fact that I just despise the Flyers because I'm a Rangers fan.
I wonder why.
The only thing I could really find against Philly is they've got to find on the opposite end of Tampa. Philly's got to find some road wins. They're 13-2-4 at home with a plus 35 goal differential. They're 8-10-2 on the road with a minus 24 goal differential. So that's the only thing I could honestly find to really rag on Philly about, other than the fact that the jerseys are ugly.
I have a couple friends who are actually Philly fans.
Yeah, I know.
And and I say a couple because they really are just a couple. And I rag on them all the time too. But yeah, I think they're happy where they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, nobody was expecting miracles out of them this year.
Yeah.
AB's going in as the first-year coach, but you're right, Yosh. They got to get some more road wins, but I think they're a relatively young team, and you see that sometimes with young teams.
Yeah.
They got to learn how to win in those hostile environments,
So for the Flyers, maybe just your resolution is keep the course?
Get some road wins, like Yosh said, but I just, like I said, I don't see anything drastically wrong with the Flyers. I mean, that's, I wouldn't blow up the farm if I were them at the trade deadline.
No.
Definitely not. If you can get maybe a couple of, complimentary pieces, great. If you can't, oh well.
Right. The Rangers, the New York Rangers. And of course, Yoshi, I have to start with you because you're the fan, like you just pointed out.
The Rangers need to decide what team they're going to be. Are they going to be the team that shuts out Vegas 5-0, or are they going to be the team that loses 9-3 to Tampa?
I love watching Rangers fans get fired up.
You either
so awesome.
Listen. Either you reignite the tank, or you play to win. You can't have both. You're sitting at about 500, and you're beating. And it's what I said earlier in the season. They're beating teams that they shouldn't be beating, and they're getting crushed by teams that they have no business being crushed by. And it's just this wishy-washy. You go out and you just roll the dice, and what Rangers team are we going to get tonight? It's getting frustrating.
Yeah.
At this point, to be a Rangers fan. I mean, they're a great team to watch. It's entertaining. They're scoring tons of goals. Panarin has turned out to be exactly what they're paying him to be. So I can't complain there, but I don't know. That's just it.
Frustrating.
Decide what team you want to be.
Scott.
Well, you know what? This is what I was saying right at the beginning of the season. The media, and for the most part, the Rangers fan base, way overhyped this team. The rebuild's over. We signed Panarin. We got Capocacco. We got Trouba. That's it. Rebuild's over. We're contending, baby. No, you're not. You don't have any depth.
No, they don't.
You have zero depth past that first line. I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to be a jerk, but it's the truth. Once you get past Zibanejad, Panarin, Kreider, what do you have? Buchnevich is falling flat on his face. They were expecting Kravtsov to come over, remember? Now he's back in Hartford, but
drama with him too.
You have that. Elias Anderson wants out now. He was supposed to be another one of those young guns that was going to come up and save the day and all that. And as it turns out, once you get past like Trouba on defense, and D'Angelo's been offensively
the better defenseman,
but they can't defend.
No, they can't.
They can't. They don't have a shutdown defenseman anymore. So where are you at, really? You're probably looking at another lottery pick, to be honest with you. And another little tidbit, just to kind of not throw salt in the wound or anything like that.
Poke the bear.
But everybody was talking about Shesterkin, the goaltender down in Hartford.
Down in Hartford, yep.
Well, guess what? Guess who just ran out of waiver exempt? Ran out of being waiver exempt.
Shesterkin.
No.
Oh.
Georgiev.
Oh.
You can't send him down now without losing him to waivers.
Yep.
They hung on to him too long.
And somebody will pick him up.
There's no doubt. So what you just basically did, too, is kind of kill his trade value.
Yeah.
If you think about it, there's going to be so many goaltenders available at the trade deadline.
Yep.
That, I had a buddy of mine that I play hockey with sometimes. And he's a big Ranger fan, but he's like a delusional Ranger fan. Thinks that everybody on that team's worth, 7 first-round picks and all that.
Right.
He was trying to tell me a couple months ago, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because we're going to get a first-round pick for Georgiev anyway. I'm like, you're going to get a first-round pick for who? Who?
Nope.
Look what he's doing. He can carry the load. I'm like, no, you'll be lucky to get a fifth rounder. If New Jersey could only get a fifth rounder for Keith Kincaid, if you recall, I mean, he was carrying the load in New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
And they got a fifth rounder out of it. When there's so much supply as opposed to the demand, sorry, it's not going to happen. Although I have heard rumors about Georgia going to San Jose.
That would be something San Jose.
Because we'll get into that too, but just say, that Western, we're just building right into that, aren't we?
I know. I keep looking at it. Like, it's coming. It's coming.
It's like a movie trailer.
I'm not going to disagree with Scott. See, I'm more of a realistic Rangers fan. Like, I didn't think the rebuild was over going into the season, and I didn't think they were gonna. If they got into the playoffs, it was gonna be wild card maybe,
and they were gonna get a buzzsaw in that first round,
and they were gonna get killed in the first round. I would rather not make the playoffs than get killed in the first round.
Now, here's the interesting thing. Now that you mentioned Kreider, you got to trade him now, right?
They almost have to move.
You have to, because if you wait till the trade deadline. Down it goes. And like I said, what happens? He gets hurt. It's not like he's been immune to injury throughout his career.
No, he's been lucky enough to not
get hurt this year.
Get hurt at all this year, which has been great, and he's been playing really well too. But they almost have to move him.
Yeah,
at this point.
I would say you better do it soon. To be honest with you, if you're the Rangers,
as I'm listening, you know what I realize we need to do? An all Rangers show one of these days.
God, no. Please.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. And I think we need to bring in like 5 or 6 of the Rangers fans.
Only if.
Against Scott.
Only if we can do an all Penguin show live from the hospital.
Wow. Short-handed breakaway goal right there by Yosh. Wow.
Man,
man, he just suckered you right in, Rich.
Yeah, I guess he did.
Wow.
Now watch it. Like we'll watch NHL Network, and they'll be doing live from the hospital.
Yeah, pretty much. Which idea of ours you're going to steal this time, NHL Network? You seem to like to do that.
Oh my God! I'll give you. That was good. We got to take our break here, and I got to go recover from that one. Let's see. Do we have? I'm gonna try the music. Sometimes we got it. Sometimes we don't.
Try it.
Usually, house money comes up. Let's see. What do we got? House money.
We'll get this fixed someday.
We'll get it. We'll try. We'll just go to you, bro.
All right. Breakaway trivia. Everybody knows the rules. I'm the goaltender. You're on a breakaway against me. To light the lamp, you got to answer my question correctly. So here it is. In honor of this being the last show of the 2010 decade, we've had 10 drafts throughout this decade. 10 number 1 overall picks. How many of them are still playing in the NHL?
Ooh. Oh, man.
The answer when we come back.
Why you got to make them so difficult? We'll be right back. And we're back. Look at that. Lightning fast we are these days.
Hey, Lightning, there they are again.
I know. You know what? We were joking around. I didn't even really have time to think about your trivia there. Say it, though.
You want it one more time? All right.
Yeah.
The question this week is, in honor of the 2010 decade ending tonight, actually. We've had 10 NHL drafts. That means 10 number 1 overall picks. How many of those 10 number 1 overall picks are still playing in the NHL?
5.
Rich?
4.
9.
Wow.
The only one out of the entire decade who was a number 1 overall pick that's not playing. Good old Nail Yakupov.
Yeah.
That one completely.
Well, he's still playing though, isn't he?
He's over in the KHL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, there's got to be like some trick angle to this. It's going to be like
no, it was 2012, and that was the 3rd year in a row that Edmonton had the number 1 overall pick.
Wow,
believe that?
That was crazy. Ooh, shifting here in my headset.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, what happened? That was crazy.
Crazy things, crazy times. What do we got, man? We got the West. We're gonna
going out west.
Yeah, going back and forth with you.
It was. It stopped now.
Okay, there it goes. It's all good. Anyways, so let's go out west. We want to talk first about the Anaheim Ducks. The Anaheim Ducks, man. And I know we've had some problems with them throughout the season. And, yeah. So, Scott, Yosh, I'm going to let you start this one.
I think the Ducks just need to focus on the retooling that they've kind of been doing from the start of the season, from the offseason into the start of the season. Mm-hmm. And then maybe try to make some noise at the trade deadline. What they really need on that team, I think they really need to get a sniper. somebody that they can just set up in front of the net and put it in, like Kessel used to be in his heyday, or like a Brad Marchand is now. Just somebody that can get the puck in the net on the opportunities that they're getting. Don't forget, last season the Ducks were the lowest scoring team in the NHL, and I mean, the Western Conference, especially the California teams, are all very weak now. So I think if they can kind of just find that player, I think they're good. They're also the youngest average age team in the league too right now. So I think they just need to get some more development going, and I think the Ducks can start making some noise here pretty soon.
Scott, what do you think?
This season is the end product of them getting too old, too slow, without doing anything about it. For years, and you know what? This is exactly what the Kings did. Nobody learned from the Kings. Yeah. They hung on to that core. They're going to get better. And then for years, too, and being a Western Conference guy, I hear this all the time about how Anaheim has one of the top-rated farm systems for years. It's all anybody ever said. Wait till you see these prospects that are going to be coming out of Anaheim. And 90% of them didn't really do anything. And now they're stuck in a hole where now they got to depend on those young guys that are coming through. Yeah. They have to, because the Kessels of the world are gone. Corey Perry's washed up and gone.
Yep.
All right. Ryan Getzlaf's in the twilight of his career. Ricard Raquel is a great player, but he can't stay healthy. He's always hurt. Same thing with Andres Casa. He can't stay healthy. So the one saving grace that Anaheim has is John Gibson. I mean, I actually kind of feel bad for the guy because he is a great goaltender. It's just the team in front of him stinks.
Sucks. They got terrible defense.
Exactly. So Anaheim, I don't see them doing anything either, because they're one of those teams that they're always going to have cap space because their owner doesn't want to spend money. He wants to always stay way under the cap. All right? So don't expect them to go out and make any kind of big free agent signings or anything like that. I think they're finally at the point now where them ruling the Pacific Division is long in the past.
Yeah.
You're going to be looking at a lengthy rebuild in Anaheim.
So maybe hit the New Year's resolution, even though it's not going to happen, should be open the wallet.
Yeah, but
learn to open the wallet.
Well,
not going to happen.
It's not. Yeah, forget it. The checkbook is locked.
None of these New Year's resolutions ever really come out.
No,
they never happen anyways. But hey, what do we got for Nashville Predators, man? Scott, I'm going to start with you.
So if you recall, when we were doing our hot seat show and all that, I had talked actually about Peter Laviolette, and people kind of thought I was nuts. But the thing with Nashville is, it's not just Laviolette's fault. You can actually blame David Poile for a lot of their problems too. There's a major danger in having your offense run through your defense. And that danger is when that defense doesn't score, you're in deep trouble.
Yep.
Now, granted, they did try to improve. Okay, they brought in Matt Duchene, who I think they completely overpaid. Totally overpaid him. All right. Kyle Turris, they made that trade 2 years ago. Remember, he was supposed to be the solidifying second-line center. He hasn't done squat since he's got there. Okay? Ryan Johansson's a very good player, but I think Ryan Johansson is more of a second-line center. Okay? You got Philip Forsberg, who's a fantastic player, can't stay healthy. All right? Same thing with Victor Arvidsson. Fortunately for them, Cal Yankrok is having actually a career year. But the other problem with the Nashville Predators, they've depended on Pekka Rinne for so long. And now that he's hit 37 years old, he's starting to break down a little bit. And UC Saros was supposed to have been the goaltender of the future. He's going to be the one that they pass the torch to, and he has been wildly inconsistent. And just one other side note with the Nashville Predators, their special teams stink. They're terrible. They can't score on the power play. They're in the bottom 5 there. And what makes it even worse, they're in the bottom 5 penalty killing. So if you can't score on the power play, but if you're giving up power play goals left and right, that's going to be a recipe for disaster for them.
So what can we make as their New Year's resolution then?
Well, try to score some power play goals. Try to keep the puck out of the net.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely one of those situations like we were saying before. Recommit, man. You got to just recommit.
Yeah, I mean they've still got a very, very solid defense core.
Yeah,
and on any given night, that defense core can carry them. It's just you can't depend on that night after night after night. That's the thing. So, New Year's resolution, tell you what, UC Saros, get some consistency to your game because Pekka is no longer a workhorse. And they're going to be dependent on that kid. So he's going to have to get consistent. Start drawing up some different setups on the power play. Figure out how to keep the puck out of your net when you're penalty killing, and they can still make some noise. They can still get there. There's still enough talent on that team to get into the playoffs.
Yep.
But they're going to have to figure it out quick.
Yosh.
I was right along with Scott on that. Nashville just seems like another team to me that seems to have an identity crisis. And I have it right here is that they maybe need to start looking at goaltenders. Rene is not cutting it anymore. Last year, he was .918 save percentage, .242 goals against average, and in high danger chances, he was .851. This year, he's .893%. Almost 3 goals against average, and he's .801 in high danger situation.
Yeah,
and he's playing behind the best defense he's played behind in years in Nashville. So he's old.
Yeah,
And you know what?
Done.
Those contracts that they have, what I was talking about with Kyle Turris, those are long-term contracts.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to end up taking the fall in Nashville, I'm telling you, especially if they miss the playoffs. And I hate to say it, but it's probably going to be Peter Laviolette.
Yep.
that sucks. I actually like Lads.
So do I. I like them a lot.
Yeah.
I like them, but you know how it goes.
Oh yeah,
It rolls downhill.
someone's gonna take the blame.
And if you think the GM's taking the blame, you are out of your mind.
No, that's not how this works. Oh, we got to go to your favorite here, and I think the one we've been gassing up here for most of the show: San Jose Sharks. Yeah. He's got a mouthful. So Yosh, we'll start with you.
I think it's time for the Sharks to embrace the tank.
Yeah. Embrace it.
Yeah.
Embrace the tank,
Good.
man.
Pull a Rangers. Send a letter out to the fans. Listen, it's not going to get better.
Right.
It's just not. And the problem is they're stuck because they have a lot of older, big name players on humongous contracts. Erik Karlsson.
Had to have him.
That the only person that they could even maybe try to move for something is Thornton again. And what are you going to get for Thornton at this point in his career?
We said this 2 years ago that they were building a team that they had to win then.
Yeah.
And the window was very, very
and it's closed.
Yeah.
It's beyond closed.
Yeah.
And I've always wanted to like the Sharks. You know, like maybe it's just the beards, you know, Thornton and Burns.
Yeah.
You know, and Carlson's got a pretty sweet mustache himself, but
They had Metallica come out and play the
right,
You
exactly. You gotta like them. I'm a huge Metallica fan. It's just, I think it's time to start rebuilding in San Jose. And the trouble is that it's going to be a long time before they're even out from under a lot of these contracts that they're stuck under before they can even try to start rebuilding, unless they can trick somebody into trading for Karlsson or something ridiculous like that. Which, by the way, New York Rangers, please do not try to trade for Erik Karlsson.
Please do not get tricked into trading.
You know who else is telling them to embrace the tank? The Ottawa Senators, because the Ottawa Senators own their first-round pick thanks to Mr. Karlsson.
Yeah, that's also
right.
true.
But, yeah, and here's another problem. Draft capital, they don't pick until the second round. And they don't have their own third-round pick. They got Philly's third-round pick. So if Philly makes a little bit of noise in the playoffs, that's going to be a lower-round pick.
Yep.
They don't have a fourth-round pick.
Ugh.
Yeah, they got 2 fifth-round picks, no sixth-round pick, and they got a couple seventh-round picks. Not a good way to start a rebuild.
No.
Not at all.
It is.
And the problem I'm sorry, go
Oh,
ahead.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you,
No,
but
you're good.
that it is exactly the Rangers 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. Buried under bad contracts and no draft picks
And nowhere to go.
and nowhere to go.
Yeah, I mean, look at all these picks that they brought, or these contracts they brought aboard. All right, you got Karlsson. I don't know what I can't figure out what they were thinking. I don't understand that. Okay, so you gave up a lot to get him for that one run. Okay, great, but that first round pick was a protected pick because if they didn't sign him, it was going to turn into a second round pick.
Should have just been a rental.
So instead, they give him this massively ridiculous contract when they're already got a decent defense core.
Yeah.
But it cost him Justin Braun. He went to Philly, right? Who was a solid second pairing defenseman for them. Well, he's gone now. So now you still are stuck with Evander Kane, okay, Brent Burns, Edward Vlasic, who are very good defensemen. But there's 4 anchors right now. I mean, you just gave Logan Couture huge money. They're going nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. The only thing that they could possibly try to do is, and embrace yourself, San Jose fans. I know you don't want to hear this. See if you can get Brent Burns to waive his no-trade clause. That's the only one that they're going to get any value for, and they're not going to get as much as you think because the guy's 34 years old with 6 years left on his contract. So between not having any draft capital, having way too many overpaid contracts, San Jose is going to be in some trouble for quite some time. And guess what? They're finding out the hard way that Martin Jones isn't as good as they think he is.
Yeah, no.
You know, he had that one great run, and I love it how players just parlay one good year into these big contracts, you know? So they don't have any really big prospects coming up through the system that's going to, you know, help them fill some holes. So this is a team that is in a massive amount of trouble.
Yeah.
Massive.
So maybe that's the New Year's resolution is to get a shovel and start digging.
Pretty much, because and it's not going to be just this year.
Yeah,
It's only going to get worse.
Yep.
It's only going to get worse.
They're stuck.
Yeah.
For at least the next 4.
You know, they fired Pete DeBoer. He took the fall for all this, which I don't think was actually right. I think this is all on Doug Wilson. You know, they love him out there in San Jose. Oh, Doug Wilson, he's great, blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? Doug Wilson just handcuffed this team for the next, say, 4 or 5 seasons. So if anybody should have been shown the door, it should have been him.
Yeah.
Of course, now we say that, and the Sharks are going to pull St. Louis, and
No way.
Somehow I'm raging back.
it seems like every time we put down a team on the show, they
The all
light on
pucked up
fire.
curse,
It's the all pucked up bump.
Yeah.
They're praying for it right now.
Yeah, right.
You know? And one more team here. We'll go with the Chicago Blackhawks. Scott, you take the lead on that one.
All right. Well, the Hawks are pretty much where everybody thought they would be. You know, the Hawks were San Jose a couple of years ago, hung with a lot of big contracts and all that. Now, there's always that Chicago miracle that happens to get rid of these big contracts. You know, either an allergy to equipment happens. I got a feeling Brett Seabrook is suddenly going to develop an allergy to the Chicago locker room.
Yeah.
There's something in that locker room that he can't go in. So they're going to have to move the contract so he can retire.
Sure.
You know, because he's got a lot of years left at big money. So something's going to happen there, right? There's some bright spots for Chicago. They got some good young players coming through. Alex DeBrincat's a fantastic winger.
Oh, yeah, he is.
They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do with Brandon Saad. I think they're going to have to bite the bullet and probably eat some money on that contract if they want to move him. I think he's got, 2 seasons left?
Yeah, I think that sounds
Something
right.
like that?
Yep.
So you got that. Taze is starting to slow down a little bit. Still a great player. Can't take it away from him. Same thing for Patrick Kane. But, man, those defensive contracts they handed out, ouch. Duncan Keith, I mean, he's only making $5.5 million, but still, every single little bit of cap space counts. You know, and their young players are going to need some time. You know, Dylan Strome started out great. Now he's starting to slide back a little bit. You know, I don't think if you're Chicago, it's panic time by any stretch of the imagination. I think especially in this salary cap world, there's a price to pay for success, and sometimes you just have to eat it. You know, like, okay, we had all those great years, but now all those years of lower round picks, right, or trading away picks or young players to try to keep that window going.
Coming back,
it will come back and catch up with you eventually. You know, and not to mention, don't forget, now they're finally getting through their new system with their new coach, because Quenneville was there forever, right? So now they got a new system they're trying to work through. It's just going to be a little bit of I think you're going to see like a mini rebuild. They're probably going to want to try to get one more run out of Kane and Taze and all that, but it's not going to be this year. It's probably not going to be next year. But it's the way the cookie crumbles, as they say. And don't forget, Robin Leonard was on a 1-year contract, so it's going to be very interesting to see because he's been fantastic for him.
Crawford's actually been playing well too this season.
Yeah, when he can get in
play,
there. Yeah, that's the other thing too. You know, so interesting times coming up ahead for Chicago, but they're right where I thought they'd be. I mean, they weren't supposed to be a contender. They had that run there earlier in the season where everyone was like, "Oh, look at that! The Blackhawks are back."
Yeah,
it seems like every team does this, though, right? Every team goes. Even the Kings went on a winning streak, right? And they're like, oh yeah, wait, oh crap. We suck. It reminds me of the water. Yeah, exactly. It's the water boy. Oh no, we suck again.
Yeah, what can you add on this?
I just think that maybe the only thing they really could work on is maybe try to fix problems on the back end. Chicago kind of lacks depth, and they just don't seem to have what it takes to win more than they're losing.
Yeah,
I guess. I mean, do you want to go through and waste another prime year of Patrick Kane and Taze? I mean, do you want to take the chance of losing Alex DeBrincat like you lost Panarin? Something needs to change with that team. I don't know what it is. They're a mess in all three zones. Either it's a coaching issue or it's a player issue or it's even upwards into management. Or, like Scott said, it could just be that this is where they're at,
This is the ebb and flow of things.
Of part of the, just part of being a rebuilding team after coming off of, their plateau they were on those couple of years with their cup wins. I don't know. Maybe try to get some depth players in there and
got a lot of young players. Let them play.
Yeah,
let them play.
Yep.
See what can happen. And that's all there is to it.
Yeah,
there's nothing much they're going to be able to. They got some money coming off the books next season, so if they really want to be players in the free agent market, they could.
Mm-hmm.
That's of course going to be up to Stan Bowman. But like I said, don't be surprised to see Brett Seabrook somehow get shipped out of town. I'm going to guess that there is some kind of a new fungus that's growing in the Chicago locker room that he just can't be around.
Yeah.
Can't be around it. Just him though.
It's very allergic.
So it's he'd be shockingly allergic to it. So that's all I'm saying.
Let's go ahead and we'll take our second break. Promise we'll be real quick. And when we come back, we've got a little bit of a conversation here just about the NHL All-Star Game, which is coming up very soon. And we'll go over some of the rosters, the names. And
sounds good.
I'll ask you guys what you think. So, All right, we'll be right back. And just like that, we're back. Look, Scott's over there seeing a man about a horse. In the meantime, we'll get right into it. They released the All-Star selections for the 2020 All-Star Game coming up. Here he comes. How was that horse?
You gotta warn me.
I gave you the call.
We should have a bell in there.
you want
30 seconds.
So, like I was saying, they released the names for the rosters, and I want to go through them and just kind of get your opinion on these guys, and then we'll talk about the last man in, and we'll see what that happens with that. I'm not a huge fan of the last man in. I'm just not. I'm actually not a huge fan of the way that they select the names.
I'm not a big fan of the way the whole thing's set up. I miss the conference versus conference.
I
actually wish it was Campbell's versus Wales still,
I do
to be honest with you.
That was great back then.
I'm not a big fan of this at all. And I think the way the NHL should do it, almost similar to what football does. You can have your all-star game, but you also need to have like recognition for players that shouldn't or should have been there that didn't get in. Mm-hmm. Right? So have like a first team, a second team, a third team, and a fourth, just kind of out there that, yeah, you guys are being recognized as all-stars, even if you didn't play in the game. Mm-hmm. Because, I can't stand the way this is all set up. And I get they want to have interaction with the fan vote and all that, but I'm going to tell you something right now. That whole John Scott thing put such a terrible taste in my mouth.
Absolutely did.
Or that was awful. Okay, it was a fantastic story. The guy spent half the season in the AHL and gets selected to be a captain in the NHL All-Star Game. Okay, hello, credibility issues. Excuse me, I know the NHL likes to do the whole ding, 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 look at us, look at us, look at us. They love to do that.
Yeah.
But for crying out loud, that was 3 years ago. I'm not even going to get going about that. It's not worth getting my blood pressure up over.
It is spiking right now.
Yeah, same thing with Zengmas Gergensons or whatever when he got in.
Yeah, but I just think when they went to the 3-on-3, it was just kind of a push to get people to enjoy the 3-on-3 because that's what they were pushing for the overtime anyway. Yeah. Okay, we're all used to it now. Just go back to East versus West. Do a full game.
Yeah, I everybody loves a quick little gimmick, but now
it's
like, all right, guys, bring back the old style.
Yeah,
this is garbage. So let's go through and we'll just talk about the divisions here. The Atlantic, we've got Tyler Bertuzzi, Anthony Duclair, Jack Eichel, Jonathan Huberdeau, Austin Matthews, David Pastrnak, Victor Hedman, Shea Weber, Freddie Anderson, and Tuukka Rask.
Are there really any surprises there?
No.
Well, you know what else makes this so difficult, especially with this being a 3-on-3 division format, is they have to have somebody from every team there.
Yeah, see, that was the other thing I hate.
It's
I
understand that. Why I get why they do that to keep all. I
Keep all
understand
of the
that
fans happy,
Right.
To get people to watch them.
exactly. I understand that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it just, I mean, granted, you can fill the roster with others. I understand that too, but no, there's no surprises really, given that they have to do it like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and plus when you're doing 3-on-3, I mean, how many guys can you have there?
Yeah.
You know,
See, and that's another reason why I hate that damn 3-on-3. I hate it.
it's ridiculous.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not even a real big fan of the whole weekend. I don't like a lot of the skills competitions they do.
I think it's too
that's,
long.
That's the only thing I watch is a skills competition. That's the only part that entertains me because all the players put on the funny
Right.
costumes and they treat it like a joke themselves.
Right.
So,
Some of the skills competitions are really, really cool. I
Yeah.
like them a lot. You know,
Yeah.
I'll always like trying to hit the targets.
yeah,
Right.
I think that's the most entertaining part of the whole weekend is the skills competition.
But it's so painful watching those guys try to do like the little nets. They
Yeah.
like they're missing.
Some of it's ridiculous.
Missing
It's
on
like,
there.
okay, enough.
Yeah. Or the stick handling where they have to like lift.
Yeah.
Like who cares about this crap, man? I don't know. Anyway.
Well, it's just like, I'm going to go on a little sidebar since you mentioned all that.
yeah.
This stupid Michigan lacrosse style goal now they're all trying to do.
Yeah.
Let's just do a little sidebar. And I know we're kind of limited for time, but I got to get this off my chest.
Here it comes.
I hate this so much. For starters, it's almost borderline illegal because depending on where that puck is, if that's above the crossbar, guess what?
It's a high stick.
Right.
And for the life of me, and maybe it's just today's NHL and we don't want anybody to get hurt and all that, why are defensemen allowing these guys to just pick up? You can see what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
They're down there doing the little scoop. I'll tell you what, not even 10 years ago, some defenseman sees a guy trying to
Would've
scoop it up.
steamrolled.
Guess what? You're going to eat the boards, pal.
Absolutely.
You're going to eat them. Or what's even worse, not for nothing. Okay, so he's going to come around the net, take your stick and go, boop. Just like that, puck's gone. And if he happens to eat a stick, well, guess what? Stop being stupid and trying to play lacrosse on ice. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's the dumbest thing ever. And now you got all these kids out there trying to do it. Oh, look, I'm Svechnikov. Oh, look at this. Oh, yeah, this is just wonderful. This is great. We got all the kids trying to do lacrosse goals, but we're not going to teach a backhand. Awesome. So we all got to play PlayStation hockey now. This is great.
It is PlayStation hockey.
Oh, all right. So, anyways, I got that off my chest. Hopefully, it gets outlawed.
Okay. Who did I gave you the Atlantic, right?
Yes. Sorry about that. Well, because Svechnikov's in the Atlantic. That's why. That's what.
Yeah.
No, he's in Metro.
No, he's in the
actually.
Metro.
Never mind. Now I'm all frazzled. Now. Never mind.
Show just went off the rails.
Jeez.
Let's do the Metro. Matthew Barzell, Jake Gensel, maybe not so much.
Not anymore.
Probably not.
Kyle Palmieri.
He's there in spirit.
They're gonna have
He's like Star Wars. He's a Force ghost.
they're gonna have Steve from Section 203. I think that's all that's left for the Penguins to be in the All-Star game. So
We'll take any Penguin. Any Penguin will do, even if they're down in Wilkes-Barre.
They're going to call Yarmir Yager back from the Czech League to come in
Oh,
and represent
God.
him.
Like I said, a Force ghost.
In a land far, far away when the Penguins were actually healthy.
Oh, God. Sorry. Gave it to now. What did I say? Jake Gensel, Kyle Palmieri. Tell me you put hair. Sorry. All right. Travis Konechny, John Carlson. Oh, it's so ridiculous. Oh, my God. I can't help it right now. Dougie Hamilton, Seth Jones, Braden Holtby.
and Eunice Corpusalo, I got that
Yeah.
one for you. Who also probably won't be
Yeah.
playing.
Go be there
So
either.
there are going to be a couple more picks.
Metro.
There's going to be a couple last men standing coming out of that one.
Yeah,
Metro's going to be real short this year.
it will be the last men.
Literally.
God, what a train wreck. Oh man, let's do the Central while I'm kind of seeing here. All right, Patrick Kane, Nathan McKinnon, Ryan O'Reilly.
O'Reilly.
Can't even talk anymore. Mark Scheifele, Tyler Sagan, Eric Stahl, Roman Yossi, Alex Petrangelo, Jordan Bennington, and Connor Hellebuck. Yeah, we knew most of those names.
Yep.
Yeah.
And any big concerns so far?
Not really.
No.
Not really. It is what it is.
And like we said, I mean, when you get one player per team, basically,
Yeah.
you knew these names were coming. God, I'm tearing up. Logan Couture, Leon Draisaitl, Anze Kopitar, Connor McDavid. What's he doing in there? Elias Pettersson, Jacob Silverberg, Matthew Tkachuk, Mark Giordano, Marc-Andre Fleury, and Darcy Kemper, who I think he's out too.
He is
Yep.
also injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well, he's on your team, Rich. So
yeah, he's
your fantasy.
we're doing great. I don't think there's any big surprises on any of that. I guess,
No, because you got to put Silverberg in there because the Ducks have to have a representative. The only thing I'm really surprised at is that the league didn't figure out how to put more Vegas Golden Knights on that team.
yeah, there
I'm
you go.
shocked. I am shocked that they couldn't figure out a way to have the Golden Knights represent the entire Pacific Division.
Let's look at the last man in, though, the ballots for those. Bergeron for the Bruins. Sabres got Darlene. Detroit has Dylan Larkin. Alexander Barkov for the Panthers. Max Domi for the Canadiens. Pajot for the Ottawa Senators. Stamkos for the Lightning. And Mitch Marner for the Leafs.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
That's a lot tougher than you think.
Yeah.
But if I were the Bruins, I would tell Patrice Bergeron to just sit it out.
Yeah.
He's had health issues. And in all honesty, really, if you're any team with your superstars going, do you really want to risk that? Honestly, you know who I'd actually like to see get that, just because he deserves it. JP Pajot. He's having a hell of a year for a terrible team.
Absolutely.
Yep.
is.
You know? Why not? Give the guy a nod. I mean, if you want to have this All-Star game be about, underdog stories and all that, here's a guy who is playing his heart out for a team that's really terrible, and he's what, a plus 21 on that team? He's almost got 20 goals. I mean, good on Anthony Duclair getting picked to be an All-Star. I mean, he's having a great year, too. I kind of thought it should have been Pajot instead of Duclair.
Yeah.
But whatever. I mean, interchangeable. But I'm going to go with JP Pajot.
I picked Stammer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's always funny how Alexander Barkov always gets overlooked for everything. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
He is a top 10 player in this league, and you wouldn't even know it.
Well, it's because he plays for the Panthers.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Let's go with the Metro. God, I can never say his name.
Tuvo Teravainen.
Tuvo Teravainen. Never. 3 years. I cannot. I've been trying to pronounce his name every year. Can never do it. Let's see. For the Jackets, Nick Foligno, Nico Hirscher for the Devils, Brock Nelson for the Islanders, Mika Zibanejad for the Rangers, Claude Giroux, Chris Letang, who I'm sure is he's getting the call.
That's a red light.
Yeah,
That's a red light
he's
right there.
probably
You stay home.
and TJ Oshie for the Capitals. Any thoughts on that?
I picked Zibanejad just for my own selfish reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, it could be any of Zibanejad, Teravainen, or even Brock Nelson's having a good year for the Islanders. But I mean, he's not their first line center, so if they pick Zibanejad, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Be interesting to see what he could do with a full healthy season.
As I'm looking over I don't know, man. There's actually some decent players that probably should have got the.
TJ Oshie would be fun to have there because he's a fun
Oshie
guy.
would be great.
That would make a lot of fun.
Yeah. Totally get down with that.
Especially coming back to St. Louis.
Oh, man. Let's go with the Central real quick. Chicago is Jonathan Taves. Colorado is Kelly Markar.
Cal
Makar. Never pronounce his name either. Dallas Stars, JV Ben. Let's see. Nashville, Matt Duchene. St. Louis Blues, David Perron. And Winnipeg is Patrick Laine.
I picked Makar.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's been.
Yeah, I mean, that's
a kid that's in the running for the Calder Trophy this year, 100%. So I say I think he deserves it.
Plus, if you want to push your young stars,
Yeah, exactly.
you got to showcase them, right? But the other one that really deserves a lot of consideration, and I can't stand him, but David Perron.
Yeah,
He's having one heck of a year,
Yeah.
and it's in St. Louis,
Yep.
so the hometown crowd's going to want him there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And let's finish it out with Patrick Division, or the Pacific. I'm going
that'd be awesome. That would be awesome.
Pacific Division. The Ducks got Ryan Getzlaff. Shocker.
Is there anybody else?
Coyotes got Clayton Keller, Johnny Gaudreau from the Flames, Nugent Hopkins for the Oilers, Drew Doughty from the Kings, Thomas Hurdle from the Sharks, Quinn Hughes from the Canucks, and Max Pacioretty from the Knights. Your favorite. Anybody in there?
I did Quinn Hughes again. Another young star. Shooting for the Calder. It's going to be between him and Makar, I think.
My heart wants Drew Doughty in there, but I got to agree with you on Quinn Hughes.
Not Pacioretty.
Yeah. He can sell soda out and beer out in the stands, right? There's no doubt. It's Quinn Hughes has been remarkable.
Yeah,
he really has. And you got to market your young stars. Obviously these rosters are going to change a little bit as we get closer to the game because there's going to be players that decide they're not going too, like Ovechkin did.
Yep.
Or get hurt.
Yeah.
Like Gensel did.
I was waiting for it to say, like, here it comes. So yeah, I don't know, man. I really do. I can't say it enough. I wish they would just go back to the old style of All-Star games. I'm sure this people look through this and they're like, oh, we got a player representing our team and stuff. And at the same time, you're like, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me.
But you know what else I got to complain a little bit about too. Now they're going to take another 3 or 4 days off for the All-Star break. Mm-hmm. I was just telling my buddy, one of the watchers of our show, by the way, Ben Skibinski. How you doing, Skivvy?
Nice.
I was telling him last night. I says, they just took 3 days off for Christmas.
Yep.
You had one stinking game on yesterday.
Yeah.
Let's have some hockey, okay? I understand because of the way the contracts, the union contracts set up now, they have to have X amount of days off per week and all that. But man, that's aggravating.
Yeah, because they were.
It's like you were just off.
Yeah, you're right.
And a lot of teams are going to start doing their bye weeks now.
Yeah, exactly. And then the one game that they have, you got to have a superstar. Oh, sorry, go down. I'm bad. It hurts me too. It's not my fantasy team.
Can't win with this team. But yeah, there's some problems with this all.
Yeah.
So,
but oh well, I had to get my little rant out.
Little rant.
I feel bad. I feel better now.
There you go. Yeah. It's been 2 weeks coming. Damn it!
Jeez, I know I have a lot built up. Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyways, we're over on time. We're way over on time. So we got to wrap this up. But yeah, man. Any last things we need to know about?
No.
Feel good.
Just go back to the start of the show and listen to my little local music rant there.
Yes.
Make sure you check that out several times.
Absolutely. And Scott, what do you got going on this week? Anything?
Not much. Got a league game this Saturday.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
All right. Oh. I asked this because with the everybody's so busy lately, and as I was thinking about this week coming up, I'm like, man, and it is going to be another busy week. There's so much. We've got I have to work the Comets game tonight, and there's New Year's shows all over Utica, and
yeah, but then what's going to happen?
Doing the ball drop at the Bank of Utica this year.
Yeah, crazy stuff, man.
But then everything's going to drop off for 2 months.
Yeah,
everybody's going to go into hibernation,
and then everybody remembers it's winter. Christmas is over.
Done.
Back to winter.
Yeah, no snow. That's definitely helping everybody right now. The first time a snowflake, everybody's going to be like,
forget it.
Back in my hole. See you in May. So, all right, let's wrap it up here. So I think that's going to do it. For Yosh and for Scott, I'm Rich Masucci. Hope you enjoyed the show, and thanks for listening. Have yourself a great New Year, and we'll talk to you soon.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, guys.